is like, and this is why I really dislike him. So I understand that he's a prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
Are we live?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Like I understand that he's a prosecutor, right? But at the same time, he's so hell bent on trying to get, particularly Kyle. He's done this with other witnesses.
He's trying to get him to trip up.
Not even trying to get him to trip up. It's like I'm trying to think of the best example here. So what like he takes forever to get to where he's going, and there's been more than one occasion where the judge has actually, or the judge had in multiple testimonies where the judge literally interrupted and said, "Okay, get to where you're going."
Yeah. Speaking of today, right before they ended today, their spiel tomorrow, which I think it's only going to be them two and the judge.
Yeah, no, they
2.5 hours.
No. So what's going on is they've got work to do. I don't know the attorneys and the judge. I don't know that will be streamed.
Is that on Monday?
Monday is when the jury returns for the closing arguments and the beginning of deliberation. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of deliberation here.
No, the judge was talking about only giving them 2.5 hours to present their case.
He was only going to give them an hour and a half.
And which he should have stuck with that because, I mean, if you're going to say it, why didn't you hold your ground and be like, no, you have an hour and a half?
Well, the point of a closing argument is to basically just reinforce everything that's already, because they've gone over a lot and it has at times changed. For example, Gage I'll fuck up his name. Gage Gorkritz, whatever, the guy who got shot in the arm.
Yeah.
His testimony changed based on from what I could tell, his original statements, and I guess it would be a deposition. I don't think they use that word, but it changed on the witness stand.
One issue with that guy though is that he said when the defense was talking to him, he literally said, "So you pointed your weapon at Kyle before he shot you?" And the guy basically said, "Yes, correct." But then the prosecution today was literally trying to talk to Kyle.
I know.
And I'm like, your witness already fucking said he was pointing at you guys are bringing out this?
Not only that.
And why hasn't the judge already said that?
Well, because I mean, he can. There can be contradicting testimony, but here's the smoking gun.
It's the guy who fucking was pointing the weapon at him and got shot.
Oh, okay. So that's technically irrelevant because get this: there's a reason why even if someone confesses to a murder, they still do an investigation because
video or something.
Well, no, not like let's say hypothetically, let's say that I say that I killed somebody, but I didn't actually do it. Do what?
I said naughty.
Naughty. No, but like there are some people out there who want to get famous without actually doing the crime. So it probably happens more often than we think, especially. Okay, I think this is a better example here. So like, remember when we were in middle school and high school, we talk shit, No. We inflate. No, never. I know, right? I guess the best example would be like inflating one's bedroom experiences when we are of a certain age.
Yeah. Doesn't
mean we actually did it. That's why there has to be an investigation when somebody says I killed someone.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree.
So, but the smoking gun was they had a fucking picture. There was the perfect angle that showed.
No, I absolutely agree.
Gage pointing his fucking pistol right at Kyle as he was reaching down to presumably, I don't know that I'd want to use the word attack, but presumably engage, I guess, would be an appropriate term.
Did you watch today? Lunch.
I watched some of today. I finished up because when I saw that Kyle Rittenhouse took the stand, I wanted to watch all of that. So thus far, I've watched all of what was Kyle's friend's name?
Black?
The guy he drove down. Yeah, Black. I watched all of Black's testimony. I watched all of Nick Gorchwitz, whatever his name is, testimony. I've watched a bit of today's, and then there was a bit of, I forget who was on the witness stand, but I want to say it was, no, I watched all of day one, some of day two, and then today I finished Kyle's testimony and watched, I'd say probably the last quarter of what happened today.
Around the same. Because
I mean, there's a lot.
That prosecutor, man, he's round and round and round and round with the same fucking ideas and concepts, and never has anything new to add. You know, and it's like we already saw all the videos.
We've already been here. But and then he tried to his
new video. Literally, I saw it when the judge was looking at it, and you could see
it looks the same.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't even really tell a lot from it because it's like the drone footage. Literally, it's the drone footage, and it's over top, and yet they had a guy blow it up, and
it's the same video, which still shows nothing.
I actually learned something new from all this. I didn't know when you actually blow up a picture, it adds. Well, I mean, I knew it adds pixels, but I didn't know that the algorithm chooses to add certain colors, and I was like, well, that's crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, why is that relevant? And then I started thinking, I was like, well, if it adds black pixels, it could look like the gun's pointing at the guy before. Correct. And that's why he was trying to say that.
Right, because any manipulation of an image could potentially make it look different, especially from that distance. If it was a photo that was taken like 2 feet away from Rittenhouse, it wouldn't need to be enhanced in the first place.
I'm still here, FYI, but my camera fucked up.
Oh, okay, that's why you look very stoic.
But anyway, just keep going for now. I'll try to work on it.
Like that level of like adding pixels to that wouldn't make it look any different, but at that point it wouldn't need to be enhanced anyway.
No.
But something that's 50 feet away at night, you know, that could, and when you're talking about something where the angle of a gun barrel being different by a millimeter on a piece of paper could be potentially huge.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Huge, could be huge. So let's kind of take this in a direction here, because at this point we're just rambling. But first thing I wanted to do was go over the actual charges, which I find this very interesting because it says that he's on trial for murder, but he hasn't actually been charged with murder.
Mm-hmm.
So his charges are first-degree reckless homicide for the killing of Rosenbaum, first-degree intentional homicide for killing Huber, and first-degree attempted intentional homicide for shooting Grosskreutz. That's his name. Then he's also got 2 counts of first-degree reckless endangering safety, a misdemeanor charge for illegally possessing a gun, and then there was a 7th charge for violating curfew that was filed later, but the judge dismissed it a week after they filed it.
Okay.
So there are 6 counts as it stands right now. Now the prosecution is trying to add some lesser charges, but I don't think those are. I mean, they might stick, but I don't think he's going to be convicted of those. The only one that I think is going to stick is the gun charge.
Which one?
The misdemeanor for illegally possessing a gun.
How was he illegally possessing the gun?
Well, that's the gray area. I think what I'm saying is I think if any charges stick, it's gonna be one of those because technically it's not his gun. Well, no, there's no technically. Legally, it's not his gun.
Well, it's not his gun, but in the state of what was it?
Wisconsin.
Is it Wisconsin? Oh shit.
Where the trial is, yeah.
Okay. So in this, well, that's where it all actually happened. That was.
It depends on what the state law. Right? Yeah, it depends on what the state law is. Now, Rittenhouse had kind of alluded to.
Law, he was legally able to have possession of the gun, but he did not have ownership. He was able to have the gun, but that's why he didn't have a handgun, and that's why he left it at Mr. Black's. Because the thing is, Mr. Black apparently lived in Wisconsin. Yes. So therefore, as long as that gun never traveled state lines with Kyle Rittenhouse, he did not commit a gun charge according to the defense.
It depends on what Wisconsin's gun laws are, because when Kyle was
17.
testifying,
17, he's allowed to have possession of a rifle.
Well, I know, but basically, so what he had indicated was he knew that he was not allowed to carry a pistol because he didn't have the appropriate card.
Yeah, Void card. And the thing is, he actually applied for it after everything went down.
Yes, but because of the charges,
he was denied.
Yeah.
You know.
So, but I guess the gray area, because he did say that he was not legally allowed to purchase a firearm, which that's pretty
standard. Yeah.
I mean, that's standard. Yeah. You can't buy a gun, but that doesn't mean you can't have one. But
that's kind of a fucked up law, isn't it?
No,
you
not
can't
really.
buy one, but you can own one. I mean, I guess I'd be like,
I don't even think own. That's what I say. I don't think own is the right word. I think possess would be more appropriate.
Well,
meaning like you can hold one and use one.
Yeah.
But you can't purchase like that. It gets a little goofy, but I understand it, because like I wouldn't want a 15-year-old to go be able to legally buy a gun under any circumstances.
No. At least with a parent, obviously,
Oh, right. But then the parent's purchasing it, and it's the parent's gun, and it's the parent's responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so the thing that I started thinking during Black's testimony, and
I didn't get to watch that one. Someone said that he flipped on Kyle.
He did. No, he didn't really flip. I think he was telling the truth as far as he could recall it. And that's the problem with a trial like this, because a lot of shit went down in a short amount of time, and it's now, I mean, it's over a year later.
And it's being dragged out like crazy.
Yeah. But I guess here's the sense that I got from all this. And then I saw some of the testimony from like two of the car source people. Like, those two dudes are as crooked as they come. And the whole time I was thinking is like, where are the adults?
Not there.
Right. Because I mean,
are you talking about the car source? Like all the people at the car source?
Specifically the owners, and then like,
well, there was people on the roof, and I don't think they were the owners. I think they were.
No, the owners were not there.
Well, they have several different stores, so I'm gonna assume that the owners are probably older, And
no, they seemed.
I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
They well, okay. I will admit I don't know for sure if it was the owner, but they were members of the owner's family, so they were in authority positions, and none of them were there.
Okay.
Based on the testimonies I heard, they bailed.
Would you? Sorry.
No.
If it was a riot
I wouldn't,
going on and your business is being destroyed, are you really going to be there? I wouldn't. No, I'm sorry.
No, but I wouldn't ask people to do it for me either.
No. Well, and actually, I don't think the way he made it sound was that no one technically asked him, but they asked. Did they ask Mr. Black?
No, they asked Nick Gewartz, I think his name was.
And was Nick and Kyle friends? I can't remember. Or
I believe
they just met that night?
I knew that. No, Nick
Ryan Bouch or whatever his name is.
They had just met that night.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick was a friend of Rittenhouse and Black's.
Okay.
From what I understand. And see, this goes to show how tricky it is, because this is testimony that I watched only a couple days ago, and I'm still like, I'm having to really think and try to remember. But yeah, Nick, I want to say his last name was Gewartz, but I'll just call him Nick. Nick, Mr. Black, and Kyle Rittenhouse all knew each other, and it was multiple testimonies stated that the owners of Car Source asked Nick if they would, and presumably they asked these other people that just showed up.
They're like, "You're here. Will you look out for our business?"
Well, it was much more direct. It was like, "Would you protect our business?" And then the interesting part was, this wasn't the owner, but again, it was someone. I think it was one of the owner's sons. Apparently, the business did not have insurance for arson specifically, because the prosecution, and this was actually one good moment from the prosecution, is they asked the Car Source dude repeatedly, like, but you didn't have insurance for arson. And he's like, no, we had insurance. He's like, that's not what I'm asking. You didn't have insurance for arson. No, we had insurance, but you didn't have insurance for arson.
It's like insurance should cover arson.
Not
That's a
necessarily.
criminal activity. Criminal activity should always be covered by fucking
You would think, but you would also assume that auto insurance would automatically cover something like, say, a rental car if your car is in the shop, right?
Yeah, actually,
No,
it used to not a
it
long time ago,
varies.
but
It
they've
varies.
changed it and added stuff, and and you gotta actually pay for that now. Just
Well,
because you have
most
full
of the
coverage
time,
insurance does not cover you in another vehicle anymore. It used to.
well, right. So I guess here's where I'm going with this. So I suspect
Get to the point, prosecutor.
now this is purely my opinion, but I suspect because these dudes seem crooked as fuck.
The prosecutors?
No, the car source guys.
Oh, well, I mean, it was probably like a buy here, pay here. And if
I
it
mean,
is, I'm sorry. Most car salesmen, seem kind of crooked.
these dudes seem like they would cut any corner to make an extra buck. And again, this is purely my opinion, but that's just the kind of guys who would ask random strangers, of which included a 17-year-old, to come and protect our business because we're not insured for this kind of shit. I suspect, like, these are the type of dudes that I would think would be sitting down with their insurance agent and be like, oh, arson? We don't need that. When's that going to happen?
August 25th.
I mean, I could see that. And I'm sorry.
Was it August 25th?
Yeah, August 25th.
Yeah, that's what
And I'm sorry. This is the part of the case that pisses me off. There were multiple adults present, and not one of them saw a child out there, and not one of them thought to themselves, maybe he shouldn't fucking be here.
Well, at the same time, no one should have been there.
Agreed.
And on top of that, the kid was 17, and I mean, it's now what, November this year,
Yeah.
2021, and I mean, obviously he was 17. I mean, in the past we've had 17-year-olds going to war and fighting and dying for the country. I mean, the Normandy. I mean, come on now.
That was 1944, dude.
Point.
Well, the point is,
it's still a point that you can still enlist in the military at 17. But
yes, but you are you're not sent into active combat.
No, not anymore. But if we ever have the draft, they will.
The draft is 18 to 35.
Well, it can say that, but the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, if we end up running out of soldiers, which obviously I think we'd be okay in this day and age, the population's way more. And
well, not to mention warfare.
And we've got a lot of illegal aliens, You'd be like, hey, you want a citizenship? Go to war.
Well, not to mention it's a completely different combat style now. But anyway,
yeah.
Like, I guess my point is, like, there were a multitude of adults here, and I think Geraldo Rivera. I listened to a panel where Geraldo Rivera was.
Him.
No, listen, he described it very well. Rittenhouse is a dopey kid with a hero complex who wanted to go out there and be much more than he was, but that doesn't make him a vigilante. That makes him a dumb. I don't even want to say dumb. That makes him an overly idealistic, way over his head kid, and literally no one, except arguably Nick Gortz. Fuck, I'm gonna look at his name, so I don't want to. Grosskreutz. Ever tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, kid, I mean, you really shouldn't be here, but if you're gonna be here, like, just stay here. Don't go off."
I am going to challenge you. He
Go for it.
Worked in Kenosha quite a bit. He had a couple jobs there in Kenosha, and he was there all the time. He even said it and then he said he drove by the car source all the time, and and then saw it which obviously I'm a diverge a little bit, but the prosecutor, when he was talking about Kenosha and the car source, and he's like, well, why did you need GPS? Da, 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 da.
Oh, that was
And he literally
hilarious.
said the roads were blah and it was dark at night and I didn't know where I was going. And he says I've driven that one road anyway. So obviously, he just completely lost my train of thought. So he's sitting there. I mean, yeah, he probably. I will say he probably did have a hero complex, but at the end of the day, he worked there and he felt justified in his mind. He felt justified to be there to help. And the thing is, he wasn't just there protecting the car source. He did say that he was trying to help people and whatnot. And I think he did give aid to a few people. He was cleaning up graffiti. He was also he was also trying to put out fires. And then the fire in the Duramax, that a vehicle that was on fire, he was trying to put it out. And then that's what started.
Which I'm not interrupting you, but I did want to make this point before I forget because you brought up the fires. Did you catch when the prosecutor was asking him, it's like, well, why were you running that way? And he said, because
there's a fire.
I was going to put out a fire. And he was like, well, why the urgency? And he's like,
fire.
Like, the look on Rittenhouse's face was fucking priceless because he literally called the dude fucking stupid without saying a word. He's like, because there was a fire. And I understand. And I understand, like, this is my inner smartass going. I understand that Rittenhouse can't ask him questions back unless he's asking for clarification. But my smartass would have wanted to be like, because the guy was like, well, there were fires the night before. Why did you think you needed to? I would have been like, well, you said that businesses were burned to the ground the night before. And the difference is we were there putting out the fires before they got so big. Because he said something, the prosecutor had said something to the effect of, it's like, well, no businesses got burned down that night. And I would have been like, yeah, because we put out the fires.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you stupid fuck.
And back to my thing, though, like, I mean, there weren't very many people there of opposition. There was a lot of people there basically to do what they were doing. So
when you say opposition, you mean opposition to the
opposite side of rioter / protester, because I mean, obviously a protester is not going to set fire. That's a rioter. Like, people need to fucking, have the correct definitions when they're describing these people.
But is it really a protest when people are barricading themselves inside City Hall because they don't want to die? Or the courthouse, I'm sorry, not City Hall.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
They were literally like, the rioters attacked the courthouse.
They're in
Kenosha. I believe so.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to clarify that as you make your point.
Hold on, the rioters broke in there and they were trying to protect themselves by being inside there?
No. The rioters attacked. I'm going to look this up because just to make sure I'm not talking.
Protesters that were inside there?
No. The rioters attacked the courthouse.
Oh, just like turning and trying to destroy the building.
Yeah, trying to
exactly. That makes absolutely no sense. Not like what you're saying, but like them attacking.
Well, because it was all sparked by the Jacob Blake shooting.
I can't remember that one.
That's what started all of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and wasn't his shooting justified? It was by a cop, right?
I believe the officer was not convicted. I'm looking that up too. I just want to make sure I'm not talking out my ass.
Convict where it's fucking due.
It would not be bringing. Okay, in April 2021, it was reported that Chesky, the officer, has returned to regular duty and will not face any administrative discipline. And then in October 2021, the U.S., which this was after the fact, but basically the no charges were filed against the officer that shot
Blake.
Jacob Blake, yes.
Okay.
And I'm still looking for that courthouse because, again, I just want to make sure that I wasn't. Oh, okay. Near midnight, the crowd lit a small fire in front of the ground floor window of the Kenosha County Courthouse, and at least three garbage trucks and a trolley car were lit on fire. Wisconsin governor. Yeah, they were outside. They were outside the courthouse, and that's when they set the fire in front of the courthouse.
Oh, so there was nobody in the courthouse then?
No, there were people in the courthouse. I saw video at one point of people like slamming the door shut.
Attempted murder, technically. So I mean, why aren't there like more arrests? And honestly, old boy, who was had his bicep vaporized. Why isn't he in custody? He had a loaded weapon, and he pointed it at someone. And I'm pretty sure that's a felony, is it not?
I would have to know what Wisconsin state law is regarding that. Yeah. Not to mention, he was carrying his firearm unlawfully. Granted, I don't want to say it was a technicality, but it's kind of like driving on an expired license that just expired.
Well, it looked like his finger was on the hammer. Granted, he didn't shoot. I will say that though. Like, the thing is,
didn't shoot yet.
But at the same, and that prosecutor, he's like, I mean, he ran up on you and he didn't shoot you. It's like probably because he's a bad shot and he wants to get close to make sure he kills you.
Or like let's go into that, because again, I'm amazed. Like people are saying that some people are saying that the judge is too favorable to the defendant. I'm amazed he let the prosecutor go as long as he did, because I would have been like, sir, you don't have to be shot to qualify for self-defense.
No, yeah, that's another thing. I'm like,
your stupid fucking logic. Dude, he had a gun. The witness testified that he had a gun pointed at the defendant. There was a photo, there are multiple photos and video corroborating the witness's testimony that he was pointing a gun at the defendant before he was shot.
We've got drone footage and we're going to blow it up, and it's going to add pixelation to it, which, that they don't choose what color it adds when it adds those pixels. So therefore it might make the gun a blur.
Well, and so again, that drone footage was of the Rosenbaum incident. I don't know how you can watch that and not see that Rosenbaum was chasing after him.
All of them were, but the guy did have a good point. 1 second. So the guy did have a good point about he goes, if you saw or you heard somebody else or if you heard somebody was shot and you saw somebody running, he goes, wouldn't you protect him and or wouldn't you try to attack him? But I mean, it was kind of a good point, but then I was like, no. And even Kyle Rittenhouse, he goes, no, I wouldn't. Basically saying, if there's a guy running with a gun, I'm not going to go his way.
Why would you run at this person who has allegedly already shot someone else? In what universe is this ever a good idea?
None.
I mean,
someone's got a gun. Don't rush them. I mean, for one, you're in a bad position. And the thing is, Kyle was, he stated that he was bludgeoned in the back of the head, and that's why he lost his balance, because he got lightheaded. And then the guy was like, "Are you sure it's not just from running?" I'm like, "Look at the kid." I was like, "He's a kid." I was like, "I'm pretty sure he's ran before."
Well, not only that, I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I was lightheaded because I got hit in the back of the head with a fucking skateboard and a rock."
Yeah.
Not because I was running and have out of shape-itis.
And then all of a sudden he's not the other fucking prosecutor.
Yeah, it's like, maybe that's why you get lightheaded when you run, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has all that air in his head. Can't come up with a good fucking thought. But no, so Kyle's running, he falls down, and then he turns around and sees people coming right at him. And he sees a weapon. What do you think's going to happen? He's gonna raise his fucking gun. And
the first thing he sees is a foot coming at his face.
Mm-hmm.
And see, here's the interesting thing.
He shot 2 shots and missed that guy.
Yeah, but that was pure dumb luck. Because even Rittenhouse says that he fired. I mean,
Yeah, it was reactionary. It wasn't.
sure.
It was.
Sure.
There was no ill intent. It was just like, oh fuck.
Well, I mean, there was ill intent, but not unjustified ill intent.
Yeah.
And what killed me about the prosecutor when he was saying he was like, all he was doing was kicking you. It's like, sir, do you not understand that can be a kick to the head can be deadly.
And then the skateboard,
particularly
he's
on
like,
pavement.
And when he's talking about the other guy, he's like, well, I mean, he only has skateboard. It's like the trucks are metal. That could kill you.
I don't. It like wood. You can hit. You can crack. You can bust someone's head open by kicking it into pavement, by hitting it with a wooden stick or a skateboard or a metal pipe or any number of things. A gun is not the only way to kill someone. And not only that, let's say the guy had connected with that kick and knocked him out. Okay. You think that was going to be it? Really? And the fact of the matter is we didn't know, neither did Kyle. That's why this, as far as I can tell, would qualify as self-defense, because the other person doesn't have to have more firepower than you.
I don't see how these prosecutors have not been removed yet, because I mean, the one guy literally, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Nick. I don't think it was Black. But when he asked him, he goes, who is this in this picture? And the guy's like, I don't know who's that. And he goes, that's Zeminski, that one guy. And he just like, okay. And then he goes, okay, who is this in this picture? And the guy goes, Nick Zeminski, or whatever his name is. And the guy's like, okay, do you want to add that to your statement? He goes, why? He goes, I don't know who he is. I wasn't able to thing like that. And he said that on the stand. And the prosecution was just like, they basically tried to get him to change his statement, which is a big no-no.
Well, not necessarily, but you wouldn't think the prosecution would do it.
Well, I mean, it is a big no-no, because the thing is, I mean, he basically was like, who is that? And as soon as he goes, I have no idea who that is. Should have been done. Shouldn't have asked him, oh, this is this guy. And now particularly
when it's the prosecution asking the questions and it's the prosecution's witness.
Well, this was in a locked room, not a locked room, but when they were asking him, it wasn't on the stand.
Oh, it wasn't on the stand? Gotcha.
No, it was his initial testimony, and then they obviously wanted to talk to him before or something like that. And then on top of that, there was something else. What was that? The judge said something about it being unconstitutional.
Okay, so that was, I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed that. Because that prosecutor is way out of line. Because basically what he was doing is he was trying to comment on Rittenhouse being silent after the incident.
Yeah.
Which is his Fifth Amendment right. The right to remain silent is not a reflection of his character or state of mind at the time. That is sound legal advice.
He wanted to talk at first, but then
and his counsel,
they said, do you want a lawyer? And he goes, yes, but I'll still talk. And they go, well, you can't talk now because you're asked for a lawyer,
So good job on the cops.
Yeah, and good job, mom, even on the side of him.
Yeah,
did you see the
good.
video? She was just like, yeah, we'll wait for your lawyer.
That's rule number 1. Am I under arrest? And since he turned himself in, that question's moved. But I would like to call my attorney.
He turned himself in too, of all things, immediately.
So that was well, not quite. I understand.
He tried to, but the cops ignored him.
Yeah, literally. And I was about to say, I understand why he did it the way he did it, because multiple people testified, including Rittenhouse and including Mr. Black, that initially he walked to the police line to turn himself in, and then he got pepper sprayed.
Yeah.
Or he got tear gassed, rather, I think. And the cops told him to get the fuck out of the street. And then they moved on. So then he went back to the car source. And they all, after he calmed down a bit, I'm sure, they all kind of came to the conclusion that, okay, I'm going to turn myself in. But they couldn't physically get to the police department in Kenosha.
Yeah.
So he turned himself in to the police department in his hometown, which makes sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I
No,
see
I
no
agree.
sound.
I'm just
I see no unsound logic based on the chain of events. And let's remember, like the cops told him to fuck off, and he still turned himself in,
I
which
mean,
was the right thing to do.
yeah, because the thing is, it would have it would have made him seem super guilty
Yeah, would have made it a
with
lot
all
worse.
the stuff because they would have turned him in immediately. And they're like, oh,
Okay, but
he killed
let's
these people in cold blood.
yeah, well, they were saying that anyway. But then, like, let's look at the reverse example. So let's start with Rosenbaum, who reached for his gun. Okay, what do you think Rosenbaum would have done had he taken that AR-15 from Kyle
He
Rittenhouse?
would have shot him.
Even if he didn't shoot, like let's just say hypothetically that he took the gun and didn't shoot him. You think he wasn't about to hit him with it or physically harm him in any way whatsoever?
Or
After he threatened to kill him earlier in the night.
or no, I agree with you, but or dude, they struggle and then someone else gets killed because they're struggling with a firearm. You know,
Correct.
or one of them dies from it. You know, it's like you know, if Kyle didn't have a gun that night, you know, it's hard to say whether or not he would have actually had to have used it, because the thing is, I mean, while you are there, I will say a gun is an aggressor. But at the same time,
Essentially,
if you're putting out fires, people are gonna assume that your stuff, you know, that you're putting out the fire that we started. What are you doing that for? And they're gonna attack them.
well, and then let's look at it from this way. This is what I was thinking the whole time. It's like, yeah, a gun could be considered an aggressor when you're dealing with rational people of sound mind all around. Rosenbaum, in particular, from what I got from the testimony, strikes me as a person who was not of sound mind, whether he was on drugs or was just had mental health issues. I don't know, but he did not strike me as a particularly well put together individual, mentally speaking.
Who, Rosenbaum? You said?
Yeah, Rosenbaum.
Well, I mean, he went out the way he wanted,
Yeah, I guess.
touching minors.
Ooh. Ooh.
Hey, Crowder posted that, not me.
Yeah, that does sound like a Crowder.
And then Ben Shapiro shared it, and he's just like, LOL.
That sounds like a Crowder joke.
Hey, look, man, I hate to say it. I mean, just saying, that's funny. I don't care who you are. Well, actually,
it's kind of funny. Which brings me to something I did want to talk about tonight. I know you don't follow any of the lefty pages on Facebook, do you?
I did follow Occupy Democrats for a while. But
Yeah,
it's
okay.
just it was hard to read.
It really is. I'm glad I do though, because I mean, I don't even know how to really put this into words without sounding like an ass, but I'll do my best. But so they posted a meme that had Brett Kavanaugh when they said he was crying. It looked to me like he was like angry, but whatever. And then next to that was a picture of Kyle Rittenhouse when he broke down on the stand. And it was like, can you tell the difference? I'm like,
yeah,
these aren't related at all, other than the fact that they're both standing trial for things that Kyle did shoot those people, but it's not like he went out there being like,
in the context of what they're saying, how he shot them versus how it actually happened.
Well, they're making it sound like Rittenhouse came out there and was like, all right, I'm here to shoot people and chew bubble gum, and I'm out of fucking gum. And I love how I love how the fact that the news media just went wild calling him a white supremacist. Tell me, what race was every single person that he shot that night? Now, granted, he shot at a man who appeared to be African American, from what I could tell, but they didn't even identify him in the trial. They called him Jump Kick Man.
Oh, yeah. He probably didn't want to come through with it because the thing is he knew what he was doing, and he went to go jump at him. And the thing is, if he would have connected with his head, he could have landed on his head into the ground and killed him. So
exactly. Could have American History X'd his ass without the curb.
Yeah. Anything can become a deadly weapon.
Well, not anything.
Oh, yeah.
But most things.
You could kill somebody with a fluffy bunny. Suffocate him.
I would like to see that.
I thought I was being twisted.
I mean, I'll light some candles and shit, make an evening of it.
Oh,
Ooh.
I say what they don't do. All up in
You don't
here.
need to go out.
Mamas?
You don't need to go out. You've been out.
No mamas. Bad mamas.
But anyway, where I was going with this meme is, it was like, can you tell the difference? But the comments, like, I'm sorry,
Hateful.
There's a lot of people that subscribe to the other 98% page. Y'all are a bunch of fucking savages, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word. Like, fuck all you people, because you don't give a flying fuck about law and order or due process. I shouldn't say law and order. I mean due process. Like, you don't give a fuck.
Dude was a 17-year-old kid.
Your tune would have completely changed if he was any race other than Caucasian.
Or depending on what he was doing there. Like, honestly, if he was there lighting fires or something like that, and then he was, like you said, another race, would have been nothing. And I say that with utmost respect for anyone who's not white. Because the thing is, just because they're a different color doesn't mean they're going to go out there and do that. But I'm just saying. I'm not attacking narrative.
I'm not attacking anyone's race or ethnicity. I'm simply saying that these people, the audience that I'm talking about, would have a completely different perspective based solely on the ethnicity of the person being charged.
I just can't help but laugh at all this going down, because I'm like, the video clearly shows he was being chased. Clearly shows he fell down and people were trying to attack him. And he shot them. How is this not clear?
It should be, but unfortunately,
I really hope those jurors have fucking brains.
I don't think it's gonna take a long time for them to deliberate. Like I said, the only thing that I think might stick is the misdemeanor gun charge.
Oh yeah,
and that's a maybe.
It worries me for this kid because for the George Floyd case, how they gave him third-degree murder when that at best should have just been manslaughter.
Well, and then here's the flip side of this, and this is why the left-leaning elites should really, really hope he doesn't get acquitted, because if he does get acquitted, Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be filthy fucking rich by the time he's done suing all these motherfuckers. The media.
Ooh.
Yep. They've called him a white supremacist. They've called him a racist. They've called him. At what point did he indicate he was a supporter of Donald Trump?
Never.
Never. Not once.
And the thing is, I guarantee you, and the funny thing is, there's a lot of people who, go to gun ranges and whatnot, and they didn't support Donald Trump.
It's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Like, it's so not relevant that, like, the fact that people even said it in any capacity shows how politicized they're making this, when this is not a political debate. This is one of the few times where, like, politics are not involved. At best, it's your attitude on the Second Amendment. But
dude,
so
no, I was just gonna say, when the prosecutor tried to bring up his social media, he's like,
God,
bruh, and I was like, oh my God, dude.
It's like, okay, so, like, I would have been a smart ass stat too. It's like, what does he say? Something to the effect on his old TikTok. He's like, just trying to be famous. So is everyone else on fucking TikTok. That's the goddamn point, you dumb fuck.
And it's like, he hasn't had that since the shit happened. It's like, do you think that he's gonna have a fucking social media that is now deleted?
Yeah.
Trying to be famous, but yet it's gone.
I don't think that's what he had in mind.
No.
Although he's going, the irony is that he's going to be famous. And here's the thing. Honestly, for him to be able to live any kind of life, he's going to have to sue the pants off these fucking people, because 50% of places in the country won't hire him for any kind of job just based on the fact that this trial happened.
And honestly, I think even if he goes to and he gets just, let's say, a gun charge for some reason, he's still going to sue the pants off these people for calling him a white supremacist because the thing is they politicized something like exactly what you said. They politicized something that was not political at all.
Well, it's libel. I think in this case it would be it's slander or libel, depending on if it was in
just
print.
like they did to fucking Covington.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're like
He
the Covington
won.
case. Yeah, fuck yeah, he did.
You think they learned by now?
They don't care because as much as people on the left bitch and moan about capitalists, the people who own the most corrupt wealth are the fucking elite left.
Isn't that crazy? And they whine about this paying your fair share. It's like fire your accountants, do it yourself, pay your fair share, because you'll fuck up, and you have to pay exorbitant amounts of taxes, Miss Pelosi.
Well, Bernie, and I'd love to see AOC's tax return.
Oh, I mean, dude, there's people right now getting rich off of her copying her stocks.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Pelosi.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, she has no insider trading at all. None whatsoever. None whatsoever, Your Honor. I don't trade I don't trade stock. I don't do I'm fucking, my brain is frying. Right.
It's that implant they put in me when I got my COVID vaccine. I'm joking. It's not true.
He got the Johnson & Johnson. He's all right.
Actually, no, I'm not going to go into that because I don't want this to get flagged for medical misinformation. And actually, no, I don't actually think it's my vaccine. I think it's the fact that I can't fucking rest at all. I've gotten sick back to back 3 times since Labor Day.
Damn.
Yeah. Pissed me right off. Got a cold over Labor Day. Then I don't even know what that was. It was like this weird, I honestly think it was just fucking exhaustion. And then I got strep throat out of nowhere.
You know what the real problem is?
What?
You've been eating too much Taco Bell.
I don't eat it that much, actually, and I've made a conscious effort to not. But yeah, you're probably right.
All right. You're going to have to entertain for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's got to go piss. Okay, where should we entertain? Give you a mini solo special here. So we were kind of touching on the politicization. That's the word I'm looking for. Kind of touching on the politicization of all this, and it's just I'm flabbergasted from both sides, but particularly the left, because again, they were out to hang Kyle Rittenhouse from the very beginning. But the extreme, I'm not even going to say the extreme. That's incorrect and inappropriate. The right leaning media are seeing
shit about me.
No, I'm going in how both sides have politicized this. The left far more than the right, but even the right's not innocent because they for some reason, there's a lot of people on the right that feel as though they have a stake in this. And I mean, they really don't, other than the fact that the left has taken this way too far. The left media, the left media and
the left prosecutors, because you can just tell.
You can. Isn't that weird?
It's the haircut.
Well, it's not even the haircut. It's honestly, it's his fucking insufferable.
His smirks when he's talking, like when he's like, well, I mean, since this.
His smugness and his this is gonna sound hilarious, but it's true. His entitlement. He was back talking the judge in court.
Well, sir, I mean, you kind of left the door open, and that guy's like, "Don't get brazen with me." I love it.
And it's like that motherfucker is lucky he wasn't held in contempt. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I'm surprised that judge didn't just go, "Get the fuck out of my courtroom. Get the fuck out of here."
Well, frankly, I'm surprised that they basically said they were going to do it if it happened again, but they were going to file a motion. No, this was after the second time where they
Sorry,
said if this happens again, it did. I've been yelling all night. Who cares?
I know, right?
I'm really hot, but after that happened for a second time in the day, because it's happened more than this, but the second time during that particular testimony, the defense even said, they said, if this happens again, we're going to motion for a mistrial with prejudice.
Who said that? The defense?
The defense attorneys. They said if anything like that happened again.
Fucking Ben Shapiro, dude. I love Ben. But I just read the title. I didn't read the article because I'm so fucking burnt out on social media and reading about this shit because I've been watching the case. But Ben Shapiro posted something and it said something about breaking mistrial, blah blah blah. But it wasn't misleading. I probably didn't read it.
Well, it's kind of misleading because I actually listened to the Ben Shapiro show from today, and he directly said that the defense filed a motion for a mistrial. That's not accurate.
See, that's why
they said. Now, again, I could be wrong, but I watched this today, and they said they were going to if it persisted.
See, that's the thing, though. It's like it already happened, and the judge even basically said this, and I'm like, why didn't you just file for that?
Well, I will say this. So this is where I might be mistaken because the judge said something to the effect of that if he did it again, he was going to basically allow that motion for the mistrial. So maybe they did technically file a motion. I might have misunderstood, but to me, they didn't say we're filing a motion.
Well, just because they file it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So.
Well, I know, but I don't even think they filed the motion based on what I heard, which, again, I could be wrong. But
correct me. I mean, obviously don't correct me, but you would probably know more about this than I would. The judge, normal case, judge has absolute conviction or not conviction, but during a jury,
not conviction.
Well, hold on a second. During a jury trial, is it 100% up to the jury, or can he overrule the jury if he believes?
He cannot overrule the jury, but he decides sentencing.
Okay, gotcha.
So this would be an extreme case, but like let's say that
he seems like a level-headed person.
Yeah, but like I'm just trying to.
Did you hear the "God Bless America" ringtone?
Yeah.
And the left's trying to get they were coming out and saying that there needs to be a mistrial because of his ringtone. I'm like,
you want to have a mistrial for a ringtone when that fucking idiot's trying to violate the Fifth Amendment?
And it's like, okay, go ahead, have a mistrial.
Yeah, because go ahead, have a mistrial.
It's over.
No, not necessarily. They could start a new trial, but that's why they wanted to file the motion with prejudice, which would have prevented from having a new trial.
Right.
Because basically that's saying that there's a cultural or political charge that prevents this trial from being fair. And there's reasonable enough doubt that he's innocent that it's like basically if this goes to trial, he's going to be, basically publicly hung only because of the political climate. Which frankly, I'm surprised they could have done that in a couple of other cases, but they didn't for some reason. I guess because the evidence is more compelling. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. And again, I'm going to use another example to really put this in perspective. So let's imagine that Kyle Rittenhouse was Kylie Rittenhouse. Same set of events.
Oh, they'd be like, oh, she needed a weapon to protect herself.
There wouldn't be a trial. I guarantee you would have never, charges wouldn't have even been filed. And if they had, they would have been, well, I wouldn't say they would be dismissed. They wouldn't have filed charges. If it had been Kylie Rittenhouse instead of Kyle Rittenhouse, not to mention they wouldn't be slinging shit. Now, granted, Kyle's not, I'm going to choose my words carefully because Kyle's not, I was going to say he's not innocent here. He's not guiltless at all because he was doing some really sketchy shit. For one thing, he is not a trained EMT or a certified EMT. He is not. He was going around and at one point said that he was. Granted, he was kind of like, he didn't say the words, I'm an EMT, but someone asked him, so you're a I forget if he said like licensed or document or something. He was asked if he was an EMT, and he said yeah. So, okay, forgivable for a 17-year-old to just be talking out his ass and brushing his ego a bit, because let's be real, he was.
Hey, Kyle's innocent. Free the Kenosha kid. We got John Doe.
What up, John Doe?
Turn off or turn on screen sharing so I can put the chat on for you.
You need to do that.
You're the host. You have to do it.
Oh, I have to enable it. That's right. Where the fuck is it?
Yeah, I agree with you there, buddy. I definitely agree that they should just drop the charges because, for one, they don't. I believe they don't have anything, even when it comes to just a small gun charge. And
I mean, they honestly might have that. It depends on what the specific.
What did I read? They actually threw out a gun charge.
They threw out the curfew charge.
The curfew charge. Thank you. Pop out.
Which, I mean, that makes sense because, yeah, technically, which Kyle did say in his testimony that they received the text message alert after they were already in Kenosha. There we go.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see the chat.
Okay.
But you can read them out. I think the audience prefers.
It's nice just to be able to see it though too.
Yeah, but I think the audience prefers our ugly mugs taking up the bulk of the screen.
Oh, it's going to. We're getting there.
Oh, I see. You're gonna make it bigger.
Daddy's working on it. But
Free the Kenosha kid. That's funny.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that, the Kenosha kid. I'm pretty sure that's probably
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty
Not gonna lie. That's good. Oh, and then that bullshit about him trying to the prosecutor trying to somehow make relevant the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse went to a bar and wore a shirt that said free as fuck a few months after the incident, after he'd been released on bail. I think a month after he'd been released on bail.
Weird thing.
Okay.
Though, like, what is he doing in a bar? Was it like a sports bar with like a seating with, under 21?
That was my question, but I saw a picture that looked like he was drinking a beer, but I know that like that can't possibly be the case.
It's like you killed a couple people. Go ahead and have a beer.
I mean, I've always said it was kind of interesting to me that someone could go to war but theoretically couldn't drink a beer depending on their age.
I don't know, dude. It's just
I'm 100% an advocate for lowering the drinking age to 18.
I mean
they're doing it anyway.
Well, the thing is though, like it kind of made sense when they upped the smoking age minimum to 21, at least here in Indiana.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, you got to be 21 to buy alcohol and consume alcohol. But yet you only got to be 18 to drive a vehicle that is way more dangerous to other people versus, themselves. But I digress. And then on top of that, you can join the military at 17. Kind of fucked up. Just let them all have it.
Pretty fucked up.
Just let them all have it. We are.
Well, my argument was always.
Can you check and make sure that we're getting adequate video?
It looks like we are in the corner, but
it seems like it. It's just it's been saying error for like about a good few minutes. I was just
you mean check on my phone? Like,
yeah,
I'm a dumbass.
You're good.
Let's see.
Presidency.
Yeah,
we're good.
That's weird. Yep.
I don't know. It's weird.
I just noticed the title part Deux.
I figured you like that.
I like that.
I was gonna wait for you to see the video later.
I like that a lot.
Hot shots pop. Duh. I love Charlie.
Twice as hot.
Oh,
fuck.
To be honest with you, I really don't have a whole lot more to add. I can just sit here and bitch and complain.
I mean, yeah, that's essentially what it would be.
But
I am going to be interested in hearing the closing arguments.
oh yeah, absolutely. There is definitely going to be a part two
Oh, most definitely.
to this.
Oh, so did you catch uh oh Lil Nicky? Little Nicky has sued Nick Gersh, the fuck ever his name is, the guy who got shot in the arm.
Uh,
I'm just gonna call him Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
Yeah.
Oh, who's getting sued?
And the county and city of Kenosha
Why?
because he got shot in the arm. Apparently, he's suing them for $10 million.
Oh, he's suing the county.
Yeah.
You ain't getting shit, boy. You're lucky you ain't in fucking jail.
Well, and the defense rightfully pointed out. Now, granted, this is speculation, but it's speculation that's worth pointing out. Is they said, now you stand like if Kyle Rittenhouse is convicted, then
they're gonna sue you.
No. That helps him win his case because his case is that he was wrongfully injured. But if Kyle Rittenhouse gets off on self-defense, then that proves he is the aggressor. So if Kyle Rittenhouse is convicted of negligent attempted homicide or whatever the official charge was.
That case either way, though.
So here's the thing. I think in a way, it all depends on how the verdict goes. Because here's the thing. If Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted based on self-defense, then that basically says ipso facto that Lil Nicky was the aggressor.
You know why?
Why?
Because Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome.
Because Popeye's chicken's fucking awesome. I think I'm in trouble.
I got hit by a light attached to a bunch of metal. That's called a train, Nicky. Or a bus or whatever.
That hurt the both of us.
Oh, that was great. I forgot he shot the freaking arrow out of his wiener. Dude, what is going on?
You turned a Coke into a Pepsi. That was your big transformation? You know, Beefy kind of sounds like he's from Wisconsin.
Uh-oh.
Did you also catch that when the judge was getting really, really angry, his accent came out?
Yeah, that was.
I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
I enjoyed it very much.
I enjoyed it immensely. It was nice to see the prosecutor get some comeuppance. It's like you can't go in there and just do whatever the fuck you want.
That's the exact way he was seemingly, and it's like, dude, man, seriously.
Like he walked in there thinking this was a sure thing, and to me, this, from my perspective, this points out how fucked up, how heavily politicized everything is, because he walked in there with his smug, holier than thou, I'm smarter than every motherfucker in here because I'm a liberal and I'm enlightened and all you conservative fucks can go fuck yourselves. And he got smacked in the mouth, and it was nice to see. It would have been nice to see if the defense had pulled some bullshit like that too. I think the main difference, politically speaking, here is that most people who are hard leaning left, irrationally so, just want to see Kyle Rittenhouse convicted because some talking head on the news said that he was orange boy bad.
Pretty fucking much. And the thing is, there's absolutely nothing to corroborate he even is a Trump supporter.
Right, but some talking head on MSNBC told them he was. Now, on the flip side, for the most part, from what I've seen, people on the right, particularly in the media, are like, well, no, we just want, let's see the evidence. And we've seen the evidence. And I think most reasonable people would agree that at best, there's because here's the thing people forget a lot when it comes to criminal trials. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Kyle Rittenhouse intentionally, and when I say intentionally, I mean like with foresight and malice, killed these people.
Yeah. It was
So
literally heat of the moment.
they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this was not self-defense. And I just don't see how you can do that in this case. I just don't.
What murder charge are they trying to go for?
Well, it's not a murder charge even. So like they keep saying Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial, but that's not even accurate. He's got first degree reckless homicide, first degree intentional homicide, and first degree attempted intentional homicide. Okay. So those are and then he's got 2 counts of first degree recklessly endangering safety, which, okay, on those 2 charges, if you're going to charge Rittenhouse, you've got some people to arrest. I mean,
the whole night.
I mean, pretty well. How are there not like a myriad of arson charges going around?
Fucking got me. I don't get it, man. Like,
I'll tell you exactly why. Because the city of Kenosha said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, and the thing is, basically, when the guy was like, "Oh," when the prosecutor's like, "So you thought it was your job to go out and police things?" And I wanted the kid to be like, "Yeah, the police stood back."
They did pretty much what I was thinking. Yeah,
so therefore,
because they weren't.
And that's actually was my point earlier, challenging you. He was, while he shouldn't have been there, but the thing is, like I said, the opposition, there wasn't many people there. Basically, if there was enough people there saying, "Hey, shut this shit down," they would have been. It wouldn't have happened. Now, if you would go to a fucking conservative city and they try to do that shit, let's say like somewhere in Florida or something like that, or Texas, and they tried to pull that shit, there's going to be a lot of people there with guns saying, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm not even just the police, citizens.
I know.
You're not touching our shit, dude.
Well, and like, yeah, I'm slinging a little bit to Kyle, but I'm chalking that up to just being young, and I'm not even going to say dumb. When I say young and dumb, I mean young and inexperienced.
You're being realistic.
Yeah, but I would lay most of the fault with the city because they stopped enforcing the rule of law, which is why all these people were allowed.
We saw what happened in Portland. Why would you allow Portland and where else? Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Okay, we saw exactly what happened in Portland and Seattle, and yet you guys didn't learn.
And like you thought this was going to turn out different somehow.
And then you've got these businesses that don't have fucking insurance for arson, and these people are burning them down, and they're not even able to get their livelihoods back.
Well, now, and this is kind of the ipso facto, not ipso facto shit. I don't know the timing of this, but I had read an article that's saying that there were some insurance companies that were not they were not turning out claims on Kenosha insurance claims because they said sue the city.
And honestly, I hope they do.
Yeah. We had a great conversation with a gentleman.
Yeah, with our friend. How did you pronounce his name?
Oh, fuck. I can't remember now. Now I feel like an ass.
He spelled it out for us, too.
Yeah, I know. Keon. I can't remember. I know it started with a K.
I keep wanting to say Keelani or something like that.
I think it was Keelani.
Something like that. We apologize if you're watching, buddy.
Yeah, give it a shout out if you're watching.
Yeah, actually, we had a really good conversation with you. That was fun.
And correct us on your name.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, did you see Bat is up to $1.16?
No shit.
Yeah, it was only just 75 cents about 2-3 days ago. It's true.
And you guys, should you want to share our enthusiasm for Bat cryptocurrency, you can purchase our BAT Man t-shirt directly from our official merchandise store.
Absolutely. Also, this is completely irrelevant to what we're talking about, but check out Pitbull coin, Pitbull token. It has been rallying. Dude, I spent $20 on it, and it's sitting up over $150.
Nice.
That's a very good return right now. But
Yep.
dude, it's literally point 0.000000006.
Yeah, but honestly, those are the
8 zeros
ones
that
like.
could potentially make you rich.
Well, and not only that, they're almost they're almost a guaranteed return if you get in early enough, because at some point it's probably going to go up at least a little bit.
Now, I will say, and this kind of does go with everything that's going on, there is a new coin, and it only has 70 holders. I just found it today because I'm starting to pay attention to this stuff, because the thing is, there's only one true way to get rich is exactly like what you were saying, these smaller coins. And then once they get bigger, it may take a year or two, but hey, whatever. You got time. It is LGB FJB. Let's go, Brandon. Fuck Joe Biden.
Oh, so you will appreciate this. You know this, but
I don't know
Ben
how
and
much it's worth. It's actually not even listed yet. But the thing is, it would definitely be something to get in on.
It doesn't matter. Put that shit on conservative Reddit; it'll skyrocket. But
exactly.
So you know that Ben and I went to AEW last night.
No, I saw him post something. I didn't know you went.
Yeah, well, Ben and I went to AEW last night, and there was a "Let's Go Brandon" sign, which I thought was hilarious. And then, so there's a wrestler by the name of Bryan Danielson who came out in the first match, and there were chants that it was predominantly "Let's Go Bryan," but there were sections of the crowd where you could clearly hear "Let's Go Brandon."
That's hilarious.
Oh, and then there was
and
one guy behind us.
In the background, they're saying, "Let's go, Brandon." I can't believe it.
I said it on the last podcast, but I'm going to say it again. It's like, I saw that and I didn't know what "Let's Go Brandon" was, but then, so I did the responsible thing and I Googled it and I watched the clip. And I'm like, oh my god,
clearly hear it. And that reporter is like,
"Let's go, Brandon." I'm sorry, that shit is funny.
Oh, dude, and people ran with it. And then the thing is, did you see Joe Biden was actually trying to hijack it with that? There was actually a Special Olympics winner. He was trying. Yeah, I know, right? He's going there. And guess what the dude's name was?
What's it, Brandon?
Brandon. It's like, dude, seriously, you're trying to make out. You're trying to turn it, and it's like everybody knows it doesn't mean that. Anybody who hears "Let's Go Brandon," they're like, you should, especially if they're on the left, you're like, you can't say that. And it's like, okay, but 2 years ago you're saying F Joe Trump.
F Joe Trump.
Donald Trump. And I'm like, look, I didn't care that they said that. I was just like, whatever, Well,
I even posted because the other 98% posted another meme that was basically like, "Oh, you stupid conservatives, you're not making anyone cry," or something. That it was a comic strip with Patrick Star being like, "Why are you saying that? To make the libs cry or to own the libs, lol," or something. And I posted a comment and I'm like, if you don't get it, then you're part of it. I don't remember exactly what I said, but something to the effect of was like, if you don't understand it, then you're part of the problem.
That's like when you have an inside joke about someone and they hear it and they're like, what does that mean? It's like, you won't get it.
Yeah, except this inside joke has been broadcast all over the internet for the better part of a month.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, to be fair, you didn't know what it was.
Well, I know, but I looked it up,
Right, but these other people, they go to their news source for Facebook. Metaverse.
Yeah. Well, and I said this last time too. It's just like when the coyote memes, when people thought that they were talking about actual coyotes, which that one was really stupid. Like, "Let's Go Brandon" is forgivable, like if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, but the coyotes is like, really? You really think people are
riding the coyote? Those are people that think Looney Tunes is real life. Just because LeBron James was in a movie with them doesn't make it real, people.
And did you see him? LeBron actually was in the media. Well, not in the media, but he was on social media talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and it's like, just shut up, dude. Shut up, because this is gonna be a backlash on you.
Shut up, or somebody's gonna kick your ankle
And it's like,
take you out for a season.
I want to be like, who do you think watches sports more, conservatives or liberals? Or I'm sorry, leftists.
No, conservatives.
Exactly. Just gonna say that because for one, why?
Well, I mean,
they tend to have more money.
Well, I mean, heterosexual men. I mean, just heterosexual men.
Yeah, unlike Joe Biden.
Did you catch at the environmental in Glasgow?
No, but did you hear? Let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Go for it.
I just want to get it out there. But did you hear about the Joe Biden's daughter's diary?
No,
it's not corrupt. Okay, finish yours and we'll come back to mine.
Oh, I was just pointing out. So apparently he gave a speech that said that this is a wake up call for America needing to fight against climate change more. And then they caught video later of somebody else speaking where he fucking fell asleep.
Oh yeah.
And then,
I saw that.
And then they released the earpiece audio where like an aide had to wake him up. Like I watched it. I listened to it. I did. Like I literally thought they were being dramatic. Oh, an aide had to wake him up so that he could applaud.
Mr. Joe Biden. Oh.
That's exactly
Dude,
what happened.
It's like what happened in high schools when people fell asleep and everyone started clapping. Did that ever happen to any of us?
Oh, I don't know about clapping, but
we did We did other stuff, but there was one where everybody was acting like they were asleep, or maybe that was a video. I'm starting to. But anyway, so Joe Biden's daughter's diary. They are not 100% sure because O'Keefe, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. Have you not heard about him getting raided?
No. Oh wait, no. He
was raided for for a diary that he could not validate. So he did the thing. He did his due diligence and gave it to the police to see if they could validate it. Well, anyway, that was a year ago. And they just now fucking went into his house and they basically stole notes. They stole witnesses' numbers and stuff like this and that, and they stole his editor's notes or reporter's notes, which mind you is a reporter's life.
Yeah.
So and I assume they had a fucking diary he could not substantiate. And he didn't even post it, not at all. And then all of a sudden, these guys come in and do that a year later. It's like that's not suspect, is it, Mr. Joe Biden?
Well, unfortunately, they would have had to have had a warrant signed by a judge. So
they did.
I know they did, but I guess what I'm getting at is
why would the judge do it a year later? It's like, how does that make sense? That makes absolutely zero sense. Is it because he was onto something? Well, anyway, so, hold on. My point was supposedly in the diary was about Joe Biden's daughter. She was displaying that from a very young age until teenhood, he raped her continually. Ooh. Now, like I said, this is speculation. It's not. No one can confirm it. But the thing is,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say
it's not true.
I'm just gonna put it on record. That sounds to me like it's I don't think that's his daughter's actual diary. It's probably a fake.
But one thing is though, if they went in on the note of that, because he after he turned that into the police, it was only, I don't know how long he said. I think he said a couple months he had it, and then he turned into police, and then 6-7 months later they come crashing in. And steal shit. But the thing is, if it's not true, then why? What were they doing in there? Like, what was there something else he had? Obviously the truth may come out. But
I was gonna say it could be any number of things. It's too early to tell.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the first time you've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the specifics.
Right. But it just, I mean, he. If if the daughter comes out and says, "Yeah, my diary was stolen,"
Ooh,
it's corroborated like crazy. And
that's
Joe Biden, I mean, he's fucked if that's true. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure daughter's not gonna come out and say that's my diary. But somebody was speculating that she did say that a diary was stolen. But at the end of the day, if a diary was stolen, you can't confirm or deny what's in the book because it's a diary. And now I mean,
well.
you can look at handwriting and whatnot, but the thing is, there are specialists out there, and if somebody really wants to get Joe Biden, they could have someone who can copy the same handwriting. But I doubt that. That just sounds too far fetched.
Yeah, I would think that if you're going to fake evidence, you would probably do something a little bit more substantial than a diary.
Yeah, like a video. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna fake a video.
Well,
I mean,
you see if you
get a
when you
drone
add
footage.
pixels,
Yeah. The
when
thing
you
is
add,
though, that made sense though. Like with what that guy said.
I hadn't thought about that until he brought it up, and then I'm
I
like,
didn't know
well,
that. Did you?
I mean, I knew that when you enhance an image, what it does is it adds pixels, but I really didn't think
I didn't
about
know
it
the
until
algorithm chooses any color at once.
well, it's not that it chooses any color at once
It
per
probably adds
se,
something
but
that's similar.
yeah, it adds where it adds pixels, it adds pixels similar
Right.
to the background. But what we're talking about is an image that is far
already
away
very small
and dark.
and dark, and they're trying to blow it up to where you can see it like decently. So it's like already it's like that's
Yeah, no, when he brought that up, I'm like, that's reasonable.
And the judge still allowed them to publish it.
Yes, but they had to get an expert witness to testify. And then what's interesting is that when the defense cross-examined,
say that it could be used. I mean, he basically
right,
said
because when the defense cross-examined them, they asked him point blank. It's like, first of all, that guy seemed like a fucking tool because, like, he's sitting there saying, like, why would you have someone working in criminal investigations to enhance images that doesn't even know how the algorithm works?
It's simply because they know how to use the program. They did not write it. And so, I mean, that makes sense because the thing is that the people who write it they're just coders working for a tech company. They're not in the.
But that's not what he said though. He was asked if he understood how the algorithms worked, and he said no.
So therefore, his testimony should have been just.
So it's like, okay, so I'll use this as an example. So back when I was heavily into video production, there was a program called Instant HD. And what that did was it took standard definition video and converted it to high definition video by adding pixels. Now, I didn't write the program, but I understood essentially how it worked and how it chose what pixels to add. So when they were talking about this, I'm like, oh, this sounds like Instant HD in theory. Or color correction in video editing software, which you're not really adding pixels, but you're distorting an image in order to make it, in this case, more ideal to what you want. But Instant HD again takes
that word you just said.
What, ideal?
Distorted.
Oh, distorted.
That's what the defense was trying to get at because the thing is,
because
if he uses that and it's distorted, you cannot prove if the image was doctored.
Correct, because the image is distorted.
Yes. So you can't. You got to use the original.
Now the one time I was kind of on the prosecutor's side, but then not really because he ruined it, was when he was talking about the pinch to expand. That doesn't add pixels. That just zooms in on an image.
No, the other guy, the defense, actually said that they had an expert talk about that on an iPad, and it does add pixels when you go to blow it up.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, it does because you're blowing up an already smaller image, and you're adding pixels to.
No.
You need to go back and watch the test.
I watched it, but here's the thing. I pinch to zoom does not add pixels because as you zoom in, the image that you see loses resolution.
You're enhancing an image.
But you're not enhancing the resolution though.
Jamie's here.
Jamie's there.
All right. Pinch to zoom iPhone. Because they use an iPad.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamie's here.
Not as fast. It literally just brought up the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I'm probably not gonna find anything. Hold on. Maybe I have. Yeah, I'm not finding anything simply just because everything keeps coming up with the Kyle Rittenhouse. So
Oh God.
I can't
Google
really I can't really
Google
use that.
Google Auto.
Google what?
Literally Google autocomplete does pinch to zoom, and the first thing is add pixels. But this is all like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I couldn't find like an actual like page stating, like an iPad or an Apple page, something like that stating that.
okay, but I guess here's my point. You're unless I'm dead wrong. So like, going,
That's what the guy said. He said that the defense, they had an expert state that when you pinch to zoom, it does add pixels
but
on an iPhone. That's why I said it was an iPad, because the guy did mention iPhone. So I don't know the difference, because you got to
but
think the iPhone screen is whoa, it's it's kind of small.
but okay. So here's the difference.
Not guilty
So
coming soon, Sosa.
big time. But so pinch to zoom is essentially a digital zoom. Now, what a digital zoom does is you're just getting a closer look at a certain part of an image. It's the same resolution though, so you're not adding pixels to it.
On a DSLR, when you're zooming
Mm-hmm.
in, and some of those DSLRs are powerful, and you can zoom in
Now,
on the
are you
moon, and you can expand it, and it can literally almost show you somewhat of the surface, not the surface of the moon, but you can see the moon bigger. But what I'm getting at is, if those are that powerful and they can zoom like that, I don't know how that zoom feature works. If it's a program inside the camera, like an
well,
algorithm.
there's two kinds of zooms though. There's an optical zoom, which is actually manipulating the lens, which
And then
is
you have
not
software zoom, correct?
correct, a digital zoom. Now, the difference here would be, are you just zooming in or are you enhancing an image?
I would assume that the optical zoom, which is on most cameras and whatnot, I would assume that that's not software.
No, that's just the lens.
Miles, I absolutely agree with you. He says he's innocent.
Innocent of
He
self defense.
he's definitely self defense. Obviously,
Yeah.
he still took a couple lives, but at the same time,
Yeah,
it's
nobody's
absolutely
disputing that
yeah,
though.
it's absolutely self defense, and a kid, 17-year-old kid, has to live with that for the rest of his life, and potentially this could ruin his life. Now, granted, should have been.
I don't think so. To be honest, I think he'll be
Well,
like I said.
he's going to have
I
some
think
heavy counseling needed, because the thing is, I mean, we already saw him break down once, and the thing is, this kid is holding it together pretty well, in my opinion.
oh,
Um,
that was the point. That was the point I was going to make. So some of the comments about calling it crocodile tears, and they're like, "Yeah, he was obviously coached," and I'm like, "Yeah, every witness is coached. Literally, any witness going to trial will be coached by the attorneys calling said witness."
because they need to be prepared, because they know exactly how these prosecutors ask questions. They don't ask
Or,
questions. They try to just assume your guilt, and then
or
they go
defense.
around that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If the prosecution calls a witness, they are going to coach them, just like they coached little Nicky. It was fucking
like,
obvious.
oh yeah, and then he got turned around. He's just like, correct. And then literally you just see him go like this and just look down. But no, Kyle though, when the prosecutor was asking him about why didn't you just leave your gun on the ground? And it's like, why? So someone can steal it?
It's like, excuse me,
I mean,
Mister.
he did leave his gun with someone first, but it wasn't.
Somebody was holding
He
it.
didn't leave it with them. They were standing right there, and he was
Or,
providing aid. And then he had his gun with him, and he was providing aid to someone else, but there was no one else around that he could trust to hold his gun. So he
right.
he didn't want to put it on just on the ground. And he's like, didn't that make it difficult to provide aid? And it's like, obviously, you dumb fuck. You know, I mean, you've got army guys, you know, overseas, whatnot, in battles, and they've got fucking 60 to 85 pounds of fucking shit on the thing, and they're trying to give aid. You think that's hard? Yeah, but they're still trying
I
to do
imagine
it.
so. Yeah, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, bro, I'd love to put this tourniquet on, but I got my gun, so
Exactly.
yeah."
And it's like, oh, but you play Call of Duty though, right?
I cannot believe he fucking said that with a straight face. You stupid fuck. By virtue of that logic, anybody who plays Zelda is going around fucking throwing chickens and shit around and
Bark, bark.
cutting grass with a goddamn broadsword and is just like throwing pots at everybody. Like, fuck.
Oh, that's good.
Dumbass motherfucker.
And then they're heading to the
Well, and then he also makes
the
it.
Temple of Time to turn back time so they can be a kid again. If I
They're-
turn back time.
I was gonna say there's a
I know it's
share
the other way
joke in there, but
Probably not appropriate.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm sure Kyle Rittenhouse would, if he could go back and do it all over again, he would have done it differently. Although I will be honest, I don't think that he would have not just not gone to Kenosha. I just think he would have done things differently. Which that's the real shame. I don't think he's quite. I think he's learned a lesson, but I don't think it's.
Quite
And again, this is purely. This is purely my speculation. I don't think he understands what he actually did wrong, which was being somewhere that he had no business being. And I understand his thought process. I just don't agree with it.
The thing is, from what I take from this is, I agree. You already know I agree. He shouldn't have been there. Nobody should have been there. It should have just been a regular fucking what night?
Well, because the police. Yeah, because the police should have been allowed to do their jobs.
Yes. So anyway, so he we already know he shouldn't have been there. He probably slightly understands that, but the thing is, there was a lot of other people there, and he was just trying to do what he thought was right. Dude worked in that town, and the thing is, he just. What old boy? What was his name? Black was Nick the one who was asked to protect the car source?
Oh, Nick, as far as I remember, Nick was the one who was directly asked. Okay. But
so Nick and Black and Kyle are all friends. So therefore, they're gonna go together.
He's gonna go with the group.
Safer in numbers. But the thing is, though, Kyle may have been like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna hang out with you guys at the car source, but if I see someone needs aid or there's a fire or something like that, I'm gonna go put it out, you know, or do something like that." So I'm assuming that's why he was there, because he was trying to help provide aid, you know, and not, you know, and that's completely speculation too, you know. That's my opinion.
And this is purely conjecture and semantics, but I guess the only thing that really bothers me is the fact that he was there to render aid when he was not really qualified to do so outside of basic first aid.
But regardless, though, any aid in a situation like that, as long as it's, you know, if somebody gets hit in the head and he said he had gauze or whatnot, that, you know, so that he could wrap somebody up. I mean, it doesn't take a fucking trained EMT to wrap up a bandage, you know, a wound. You know?
Correct. But when you're literally walking the streets asking if people need medical, and like what was his plan?
I think he said. What was it? What were they saying? They were not saying EMT, medic. But the thing is, they've got people on the other side, medics. But the thing is, they're not EMTs either.
Well, no, the little Nicky was an EMT.
Well, not little Nick. I'm talking the opposing.
Oh, I know, and I'm not giving them a pass either. I'd have an issue with anyone out there. I didn't know
Nicky was an EMT though.
Yeah,
and that's probably why Kyle.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Nicky was a paramedic. He was above an EMT.
And that's exactly how Kyle and Nicky are friends. was because
No.
no, you said he was a paramedic.
No,
Kyle,
the little Nicky
little
that
Nicky,
got shot.
my bad. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he's a
paramedic and he's gonna act like a fucking retard like that.
Yeah.
I know
I guess.
I know you're kind of taken back, but like I don't really know how to respond. But other than
I'm like, well, I guess, yeah.
But because I'm thinking of I'm thinking of Kyle's friend Nick.
Yeah, no, not that guy.
Okay, that's why you're saying Nicky. All right, I got discombobulated. Anyway, so no, but Kyle, he's a junior firefighter. Did you hear about? Did you see that?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
no,
and not even.
He was part of it.
Yeah, but
he's not a firefighter. He is not anything like that. And he was actually going to try to be an EMT. Or
correct,
was he
but
trying
he
to be
had
a firefighter? I can't remember.
He was in a firefighter like cadet program that, his words describe it as it prepares you to study for the firefighter exam.
Right, but the thing is, like the the prosecutor was like, "So you went in and fought fires?" And he asked him
He's
that.
Like no.
He asked him that 3 times. He goes, "No, they wouldn't let us."
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think he asked it like once more, and I'm like, he already answered your question, dude. And I'm just.
Well, and the other thing is there's like this weird conjecture where the prosecutor is essentially saying it like Rittenhouse was planning to run into burning buildings. It's like, no, they had fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
And like they were trying to prevent these fires from getting big enough that you would theoretically need the fire department, which wasn't responding.
Right. And then they're trying to say from the video, the drone footage that Kyle, right before he was attacked, threw down his fire extinguisher, and then, or no, I'm sorry, their words was that he set it down gently.
Like, no, he dropped it.
And it's like, yeah, and Kyle even said, he goes, no, I dropped, and the guy was like, you set it down gently, and Kyle's like, no, I dropped it. And then, like that, and for that drone footage, I'm like, it's overview. You can't fucking tell how fast or slow something's going to the ground because you're overhead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
oh, and there was one interesting part of little Nicky's testimony that I did want to point out. It was towards the end where he literally said something to, what was that fucker's name? Hang on, I'm going to look it up. I shouldn't have said fucker. Huber. Little Nicky. And for those of you just, I mean, Nick Gross. Was he Nick? Fuck. Gage. I'm sorry. His name's not even Nick. Fuck. Gage Grosskreutz. Gage.
Is that bicep missing man?
Yes.
Okay.
Gage. Jesus. Gage.
GMM.
I'm sorry. Gage. I'll just call him Gage. Gage. I'm sorry. Gage. So little Nicky is Gage. I fucked his name up all night. Gage Grosskreutz said during his testimony at one point something to the effect of when he murdered Mr. Huber.
Oh.
And the judge wasn't having none of that.
I didn't hear that part. What the judge said?
Yep. I mean, he admonished and said, like that, I've already ruled that, we're trying to decide whether or not that's a matter. And he's like, oh, rephrase. And here's the thing. I know the prosecutor told him to fucking say that shit because he hadn't said the word murder for hours.
Because all that's going to do is strike the emotions of the jurors.
That's all it's going to do.
That's it. And the thing is, I'm sitting there looking at the jurors and I'm not trying to be that person, but I'm going to go there. I can already tell you who's going to give them a guilty sentence. It was all the people wearing masks. When the rest of the courtroom wasn't wearing them, prosecutors weren't wearing them. And I'm like, obviously not, because the thing is they need to be heard and whatnot, but
yeah.
At the same time, I'm like, I mean, you guys got to hold up your leftist ways.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I almost think that's kind of like half the reason why they want mask mandates is to tell who's conservative and who's liberal.
Right.
because statistically speaking, you can pretty much tell someone's political affiliation. Now, there are some rare exceptions like me who are just like, yeah, I just don't give a fuck. But
Oh, I get people all the time that like 100% assume about me, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I support this, and they're like, huh?
I got my vaxectomy.
You dirty motherfucker. You've tainted the bloodline.
I'm contaminated.
You know, you want to hear a really crazy theory, conspiracy theory? I just heard.
You mean crazier than Joe Biden's daughter's diary?
Even crazier.
You're like even worse.
Think of Samuel L. Jackson in. Have you seen Kingsman 2?
Dude, no, I'm not watching those fucking abortions of movies. Yeah, they're fucking terrible.
No. Those
yeah,
are
they are
fantastic. You
they're
suck
not.
for not watching them because you're not even going to know my
good.
reference right now. Samuel L. Jackson, he is a super genius. And the thing is, he creates free cell phones to hand out to people. And it's because of the...
oh, wait, is this Kingsman 1 or 2?
2.
Oh, then I've seen it. Yeah, I remember that one.
And you haven't seen the first one?
I guess. I didn't watch it of my own volition. It happened to be on when I was...
The first one was amazing. Anyway, so... what was it? Yeah, it was the second one.
I'm familiar with the phone plot.
Okay, so the phone plot. Anyway, the SD cards. They have certain frequency when turned on. Can make people go crazy.
Yep.
So... FYI, disclaimer. This is a conspiracy theory. This is not legit.
This is not proven medical fact.
This is not fact. This is nothing, YouTube. Anyway, so the conspiracy is that the vaccines contain certain properties, whatever you want to say, with when certain frequencies are played can cause problems, and that's what they were trying to say. What happened at Travis Scott's thing? Yeah, and they were literally trying to say that he played certain frequencies that made the crowds go like that, and then not like respond to people basically getting stomped to death. And I was like, that's hilarious, but then I was like, that's crazy. Almost crazy enough to work. No, I'm just kidding.
I do remember my favorite rebuttal of the vaccine implants thing was somebody, an ex-military gentleman, who was basically like, "Yeah, here's the thing.
I'm telling you,
we were deployed in the desert, and they couldn't even give us fucking GPS units that worked."
Well, I mean, to be fair, they are in the desert. And I mean, yeah, there are a billion satellites in our thing, but
I think you're missing the point.
Maybe I didn't hear you.
Like he was the U.S. military.
Can you rephrase the question, sir? Who was in the military?
Some guy who I saw a video of a guy who just did a rebuttal when people were like, they're putting microchips in the vaccines. He was like, yeah, they didn't even have the adequate technology to give us fucking GPS systems that work consistently. I don't think they have the ability to do any of that.
To be fair, how long ago did it say that he was in the military or out? Or was he?
I mean, he was deployed in Afghanistan, so at least within the last decade. I will say he didn't say specifically.
5G is pretty new. So
oh my god!
No. I'm saying 5G is pretty groundbreaking the way it works and whatnot.
Because
the thing is the way things are happening. We could eventually we wouldn't have to actually rely on satellites. We would actually just ping off each other, which is like fucking amazing. That's kind of like HNT Helium, the People's Network. That's the way that works. They're basically trying to internet everywhere. And I'm just like, that's cool.
Yeah, and 5G, I think is the way. Now, I guess, is that technically going to work if you still live out in the middle of bumfucked Egypt?
I don't know.
Well, but theoretically, you could still use a satellite if you were out
You
there.
talking helium?
Yeah, well, 5G technology and some.
Well, I mean, you just got to think like if they sell things nowadays, like if your cell phone sucks inside your home, but yet you walk outside and it's good, they sell things you can. Well, they don't even sell them. Like a company, say Verizon. Say you have Verizon and your cell phone service sucks inside your home, but it's good outside.
Yep.
They can run a diagnostic on your phone inside your home, and then they'll send you. It's expensive for them, but they'll send you out for free a thing you plug into your wall, like a hotspot, and then it helps. It helps with connectivity. So I mean, stuff's getting pretty fucking crazy when it comes to technology. I mean,
well, that 5G technology is the whole reason that
I'm making money
cars
off
like
technology, man.
well, that like that technology is the whole reason that basically how Tesla can self-drive as reliably as they do.
Well, and that's another thing is once 5G becomes like standard everywhere.
Ubiquitous, yep.
Yeah. Ooh, big word. So once that becomes standard everywhere and it's in cars and whatnot, those I don't know why I said whatnot twice, but the Teslas, any electric car that utilizes 5G is going to be fairly accurate. The only thing is all the sensors on the cars to judge. Are you reading? What are you reading?
Yeah, I'm looking up the official definition of vigilante.
Oh.
A member of a volunteer committee organized to suppress and punish crimes summarily, as when the process of law are viewed as inadequate. Also, a self-appointed doer of justice.
Punisher. Best
Well, so
vigilante
people
ever.
have been referring to Kyle Rittenhouse as a vigilante, and
No, incorrect.
no, yeah, no, that I mean, just
A vigilante is on the offense. He's not on defense.
yeah, just factually, that's inaccurate.
Yeah, and just like Alec Baldwin with the misfire, that's inaccurate.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't a blink.
Or an hour and 45 minutes in, I'm done.
Yeah, I'd say we've basically just essentially just been bitching about the prosecution.
Hey, regardless though, this was a good one. These are really easy ones to do because they give us so much to bitch about.
I'm telling you, it seems like, and I wouldn't even say this is political, but like the political and current event shit seems to be what flows.
Speaking of the left and following left-leaning news organizations,
media,
or any of them, media, Anna Kasparian. Did you see that she? You know who she is?
Yeah, from the Young Turks.
Okay, thank you. She came out and said that she flew off the handle too quickly about Kyle Rittenhouse, and she was basically saying that the media. Hold on, it gets better. That the media.
He said what?
Is being it was essentially being dishonest. I'm paraphrasing what she said.
He's gonna go to work for Daily Wire in a year.
Dude, I tell you what, and she's hot.
I wouldn't go that far.
Anna Kasparian, dude.
She has excited bitch face.
Back shots all day long, son.
God!
I like that shit. I like that shit. Resting bitch face, dude. I tell you what, that's the best.
She has enthusiastic bitch face, meaning that even when she's happy, she still looks like a bitch.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's probably gonna be,
She's probably got a bigger dick than both of us combined.
Govern me
harder, daddy. Oh God, I'm serious though. Like, because I was surprised by her. She did a debate with Ben Shapiro, and I was actually surprised how.
That was a really good debate.
It was, but she wasn't.
She wasn't crazy.
Because when she was given. Yeah, but I think that's just habit. But I really think she was receptive to new ideas in that environment.
But then she still goes on to talk about socialism and how it will work, essentially. I mean, she didn't like basically kind of say it. She was just kind of saying, we haven't tried it. And Ben's like, where?
I'm going to say it. Theoretically, it's possible that a socialist system could, in fact, work. However, everyone would need to enthusiastically fall in line. And in order for it to work, you would have to have a system like Venezuela had before the value of their currency just plummeted because of economic forces. But the difference being is that in a capitalist market, like, yeah, one market's going to go down, but there are multiple things at work to keep the overall economy, for comparatively speaking, because I mean, a capitalist economy can collapse. It's possible. It's happened before. But I mean, the issue is that the government was not bringing in the revenue that they once were, but they were still funding all these social programs. So they had to borrow the money in order to do it. And they did a real shit job of financially planning.
That's the thing right now with a lot of the Nordic countries. They're not necessarily socialist in nature, but the thing is with all their socialist programs and us funding their military, I mean, if we made them fund their own military, they would not have the money for those programs.
And they admit that.
And they admit it. And the thing is, a lot of those, not socialist countries, I'm sorry, a lot of the Nordic countries, they literally state, when people say, oh, you're a leftist country, it's like, please don't call us that. We are not, we are not a socialist country. We are a capitalist country with social programs, with heavy social programs. Sorry.
Which again, if that's what the people want and it's sustainable, then fucking go nuts.
Not what I
want. The problem is I don't see how it could be sustainable, because like you said, they're only able to get away with it because they don't have to fund their own defense. It's provided by NATO. If that changed, their economic situation would change.
I mean, the thing is with socialism, it's basically ownership is everybody owns everything.
Except it's
basically okay. I'm sorry. It's not that. It is nobody owns anything. Everything is public.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, in a sense, you're right, because yes, everybody owns everything. But when everybody owns everything, nobody owns anything.
And on top of that, there is no reason to get up and do anything or have any ambitions or anything like that. So therefore, your country goes stagnant, and therefore you don't have people wanting to become this or that. I'm sorry.
In the extreme,
when people are given the option to lay around all day, have their home paid for, and have food in their belly, and watch TV, what are you gonna do?
Well, see, I disagree with that.
I'm gonna lay around and I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna lay around and eat for a little while.
You will for a little while, but eventually, most people, I'm not going to say all, because there are some people that are just worthless pieces of shit that are wastes of space. But I think most people.
That's actually not true. What I said. I mean, I think you'd know better by me. For me, I can't sit still longer than fucking 5 seconds.
Oh, I know. I'm a fucking wreck. I think 2 days at home with doing nothing is my max.
No,
and it's kind of a stretch.
Kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about me.
I know. You, on the other hand, I'd love to be at home.
It's pretty sweet, not gonna lie.
It gets lonely, but then you come on the Average Intelligence podcast and then get your daily dose of.
You know what? Having been in both situations, I can say honestly that a couple times feeling a little lonely. Yeah, it's all right. I just honestly, if I have a night where I'm just like fuck, kind of bored, just go see a fucking movie or something.
Exactly. And that's another thing is when people get down in the dumps and whatnot, and they're sitting there, a lot of them will just stew in their own misery. And it's like, get out and go do something.
Yeah, go do something. Literally. No.
Go to a restaurant and just fucking eat by yourself. I mean, everybody's so afraid to do that. I love going to restaurants to eat by myself.
I've done that.
Flirting with literally just. No, just kidding.
Well, I mean, depending. It depends. It's a toss-up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said waitress. I meant waiter. Just kidding.
Wait person.
Wait person.
We got to be politically correct. Fuck that shit. No, but literally. And I've had days where I've had a day off and I'm just I feel kind of not even mopey, but just kind of bleh, don't really feel like doing anything. But then I make myself go to the fucking gym and then I feel great every time.
I tell you what, if I worked up in Fishers, I would have a membership to Top Golf. I fucking
Oh,
love
that shit
I
is
love
fun
that
as
place.
hell.
We need to go.
Yes, we do.
We've been talking about it for a long
We
time, but
at some point we need to defend the belt there. Actually, I should challenge Ben to that
yeah.
because I don't.
Actually, speaking of the belt, we need to get a challenge.
Yeah, I know.
Ben
He
is
said
overdue.
he said he had somebody lined up, but I think it fell
Well,
through again.
he also and I think before I move, I think we could probably squeeze in a battle royale with Mortal Kombat. Not really battle royale, but Mortal Kombat trilogy on Super 64.
Oh God, I'm gonna lose that one.
I don't know, dude. Like I've tried to
You
play.
saw, you saw how fast I lost Mortal
That
Kombat.
was different though. You didn't have a controller. That is harder
This is
with
true.
joystick and buttons,
It
man.
is. It
Everyone's
is.
like it's the same. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Because it's
It
not.
is not.
That actual thing though, like it wasn't one from back in the day. It was a newer version, right? Like
Yeah, it's kind of
so
like a collection
the
arcade.
joysticks are trash
That's true.
compared to the ones that we had as kids on those older arcades. They're
Oh no, you know what? You're right because when we were fucking around playing Mortal Kombat 2, I kicked his ass.
Mhm.
Just because I figured out how to teleport with Kung Lao and I was being a dick, but
Take out a saw. Oh no, that was Raiden. I can't wait for the new Mortal Kombat. No, I'm just kidding. You know,
oh God.
someone said that there's a new DBZ movie coming out here soon, and they tried to say it was December, and I was like, no.
It's in development, but it's not. It's nowhere near
No, and
completion.
I actually heard that there might be another live action movie, and I'm like, listen, do not ever try to hire Justin Chatwin again. Evolution was garbage. It wasn't a horrible movie if you look at if you look at it as just an adaptation and you don't take it for like whatnot. It's not horrible. I've watched it a couple times.
You know what?
It was fun.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Stupid. And
it was dumb as fuck.
And everything made no sense. Sorry, people, if you're coming now talking about Rittenhouse, we're
but
bullshitting.
the moral of the story in Dragon Ball Evolution is that when you're trying to get laid, you can do amazing things.
Ka me. I was like, oh, that's true.
Oh no, literally, like the scene where Chi-Chi's like, use your key, and he's doing the exercise with the candles, I believe it was, putting them out with his key. The minute she walks in, he's like, pew 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 pew. It's like, motherfucker.
And the funny thing is, Goku does not care about the opposite sex at all.
I know, not even in the least. But in this one, he's like, Chi-Chi.
We know for sure he has been raped twice.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Gohan and Goten.
Oh, okay.
Chi-Chi.
Oh my God, you have you gotten that? Have you gotten that far?
Oh God.
Have you gotten that far in DBZ Abridged yet?
No.
I'm exhausted every day. Chi-Chi just won't let it up. He's like, well, I guess I could go in if you needed me to.
Krillin.
Does he think? Well, Krillin thinks he's talking about fishing.
Oh.
He's like, oh, he's pounding the tuna. What? Oh no, he's talking about Gohan. When he's like, no, Gohan's just at home pounding the tuna for Chi-Chi. What? Now that Goku's gone, somebody's got to do it.
Oh my God.
But it's an actual fish.
It's fucked up.
Oh, DBZ Bridge is so fucked up, but it's hilarious. Oh. What was it? The last time I left the lookout, Mr. Pope, I found 5 dead hookers. Mr. Popo laughed when I said 5.
5.
They rewrote that character so perfect. Rule number 1 of Popo's training: don't talk about Popo's training. Hey, maggots.
I've tried to watch it continuously. I can only stand it for like a few episodes.
How far in have you gotten though?
Not very far.
See, the thing of it is season 1's okay. Season 2 is where, so when they start with the Namek saga, that's when it starts getting really good. And then by the time they get to the Frieza saga, it's just laugh out loud, fucking hilarious. And the Cell saga is comedy
The
perfection.
only thing that it does for me is it makes me want to go back and watch Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball.
Okay, so here's I will say this because I'll say it, like the first season is mediocre, comedy speaking. If you really want, start with where Frieza gets introduced.
Oh, okay.
And that's where it starts to get really, really funny and really well written.
The episodes really aren't that long. So
no, but the thing of it is their writing gets a lot more sophisticated as they go along, because at first it's kind of like just one-liner gags.
I need to watch it before they take it down.
But no, it's been up for a while. I think you'll be fine. But like, I'll put it this way: by the time they get to the Cell saga, the last episode features a running joke from the first season that they revisit.
Yeah,
that's
why I want to give it the good old college try and watch it all. Because the thing is, just because you don't necessarily like a season of a show doesn't mean that you should skip it. Because you're gonna.
Well, but the thing of it is, once you finish DBZ Abridged, you appreciate the older episodes because it completes a picture, I guess.
It's like a circle.
It's like a circle.
And and like a circle, everything must come to an end, but not really. Or does it really ever end?
Oh, and actually, speaking of DBZ Abridged, it actually gives me one of my favorite, probably my favorite DBZ moment that never actually happened. It only happens in DBZ Abridged. So you know how by the time you get to the Cell saga, it's pretty much all about the Saiyans? Man, Tien gets a moment to shine. And I mean, it happens in the series, but the way DBZ Abridged does it, it's so much fucking cooler. I'll send you a clip, because it's just a clip of that scene.
Does that sound to you?
What sound?
Was there like a knocking sound?
Oh, that's probably, I'm tapping my foot. That's probably what you
hear. I thought somebody was knocking on your door.
Nope. Oh no, I would have heard that. Yeah, see that I heard. Anyway. No, I'll send you the clip. It's the scene where Tien is trying to stall Cell.
Tri-beam.
Yeah, except when they do it in DBZ Abridged, it's so much fucking cooler and still fun. Simultaneously funnier, because they're much better writers than the folks over at Toei.
That's mean. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, and then I love it. I love it because they make a joke out of it, because later when they show up for the Cell games, like Cell's like, oh, look who else is here. Yamcha, Krillin, Trunks, Tien. And then Tien just goes, Kiko, how you doing? Tien is comedy gold in DBZ Abridged, because he also has he's got this game that he plays with Vegeta where he just always gives him grief. And then at one point, Vegeta leaves after Tien kind of gets the better of him. Verbally, of course. Krillin's like, he can kill you, right? And then he's like, at this point, it's a game. And if he kills me, he loses. And he knows that. Or what is it? Another great one is he's like, if Kakarot has become a Super Saiyan, then I'll become a Super Duper Saiyan.
I've seen that one.
Or no, actually, I'm thinking of a different one where it's like, oh no, Vegeta's like talking shit. He's like, well, I've surpassed a Super Saiyan. He was like, oh, so you're like a Super Duper Saiyan? And he's like, shut up, bald man. And Krill's like, what did I do? He's like, the other one. And he's like a Super Ultra Saiyan.
We need to get Shaw on here and talk about DBZ.
Yes, we do.
Shaw and Sosa. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Sosa is a big DBZ fan. Well,
yeah, we 100.
I'm not sure if he likes DBZ more or Baki more. Baki the
I don't
Grappler.
know.
Have you seen that?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't watched a lot of it.
I haven't.
It's on my list.
I haven't watched a lot of it except for like a lot of the stuff Sosa posts, but I'm just telling you, dude.
I know, it looks legit. It looks really good.
I mean, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, no, I'd heard of it. I just have never.
There's new episodes now, though, but.
Yeah, just have not gotten around to watching it.
So,
But I think we're well past talking about Rittenhouse.
Yeah. So obviously we will have a part 3 for anyone who makes it to this point. We will have a part 3.
We
It'll probably
should
be next
be.
week. So I mean, we
Well,
should
yeah, I
we
was
should
going to
have.
say we should have an end of the trial theoretically.
So hopefully we have some good news for Kyle. You know, hopefully they don't fuck a 17-year-old's life up for just defending himself. I mean,
Hopefully not.
but I mean, like I said, even if any charges stick, it's not gonna be anything like crazy.
Yeah, I like I said repeatedly, I think the misdemeanor is the only thing that's really got a potential to stick.
Well, I mean, if they throw out the misdemeanor for curfew.
Well, I think they threw that out just from the sheer ridiculousness because if he's guilty of that, then everyone's guilty of that.
Exactly.
So in terms of this trial, I think that's fairly like we've got bigger fish to fry here.
Gage, was he a convicted sex offender? Or
No, that was
that was Rosenbaum.
yes.
And Rosenbaum did not have a gun, correct?
That anybody could see at the time of the shooting, no, he was unarmed.
Didn't Kyle say that he saw a gun with him, or was that with Gage?
He saw the gun with Gage, and then it was the person that was around Rosenbaum. It wasn't Rosenbaum. It was the
man.
No, no. This guy had a name. Oh God.
But the dude didn't attack Zeminski?
Correct. He did. Zemitsky. Yeah.
Zeminski did have a gun.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
And wasn't he a sex offender?
Or was that was Rosenbaum.
Okay.
I believe it was Rosenbaum.
But Zeminski had a charge against him too. Something I can't remember because someone said that Kyle took out a pedophile and then took out someone else. Obviously, he didn't take them out, but in self-defense.
Right. So I'm actually just looking this up. Joseph Rosenbaum had an open case for misdemeanor bail jumping. Rosenbaum had an open. Oh, Rosenbaum also had an open misdemeanor cases for battery. Okay, newly released documents obtained by Wisconsin right now from I believe it's pronounced Pima or Pima. It's one of the two. Pima County, Arizona clerk of courts confirmed Rosenbaum was charged by a grand jury with 11 counts of child molestation and inappropriate sexual activity with children, including Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not going any further.
When I hear child.
Yeah.
And the same thing. It's like, sorry.
Yeah, that's
sorry, but not sorry. He's where he should be.
Well, and I hate to say it this way, but
I'm not even for the death penalty.
No.
How much not conservative I am. I don't even agree with the death penalty. But when it comes to children, you don't get no remorse from me. Because I have children. It's different. I didn't feel this way before I had children. I was kind of a little more lenient. But nowadays, like, I'm just like...
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Now, where's the... I'm looking for the other... Yeah, I mean, you guys can Google this. I just don't want to... I don't want to fucking say it. Because it's
hard.
That's fucking terrible. It doesn't say...
they say God works in mysterious ways.
Oh, okay. So here's Huber. Anthony Huber. Wait, Huber was the... Okay, no, that was the other person that was... Who was the guy who was hanging around where Rosenbaum was?
Hold on. Zeminski was killed.
Zeminski.
Zeminski was killed and Huber was killed. Gage,
no,
and Jumping Man, no. Okay.
No, Zeminski wasn't killed.
I thought he was.
No. Rosenbaum and Huber were killed.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Zeminski didn't have any prior charges, but Gage did. Although his, I think, were pretty minor. I could be wrong, though. Let me see.
I mean, he was an active paramedic, and you have to pass backgrounds.
Gage, Paul, Gross.
Well, actually, I don't know if he was an active paramedic.
No, he was.
Okay. Seemed Antifa.
The defense had asked him at one point if he was a member of some group. I don't recall the name of it.
Of course, he's going to say no.
Well, no, he didn't ask if he was a member. I'm sorry. He asked if he had affiliation, and he said no. But he said, "Really? Because you're at some of these meetings and you spoke." And then he's just kind of like, "Yeah, but I don't have affiliation." It's like, okay, whatever.
Exactly. He's part of NAMBLA, National American Boy Love Association.
Okay, he has no felony convictions. He just had a. Yeah, okay, so Grosskreutz really didn't have anything. I'm sorry.
Must have been
he was convicted of a criminal misdemeanor in 2016 for going armed with a firearm while intoxicated.
Was his name Anthony Huber?
Oh, this is Grosskreutz. Anthony Huber had a disorderly conduct conviction from 2018 as a domestic abuse repeater, which is a misdemeanor.
That's what it was. He was beating on a spouse or something like that.
Yeah, something to that effect. They also had a case from 2012 with second degree recklessly endangering safety felony charge. That was dismissed. Strangulation and suffocation felony. Guilty doing a guilty plea. False okay, so it looks like this must be part of the domestic abuse. Okay, yeah, so.
All right, well, let's not get any deeper in that. I think this is a good time to stop. We're almost at 2.
Yep.
Just like the judge said, an hour and a half, more than an hour and a half.
Yep.
People don't absorb.
This is true. But luckily, they can pause and come back, or they can check us out on our various audio streaming platforms, including Spotify, where you can pause and carry on the podcast when you feel like listening some more.
Yes, you can. Alrighty, people.
You can also support us financially there, should you want to. But I mean, we're not begging, but. And I would like to point out, too, referencing our online store again, if you believe that we are evil capitalist pigs, then buy some of our shirts so that we can get taxed at a higher rate.
And pay our fair share.
Yeah, make us pay our fair share by buying our shit.
We promise not to use crazy accountants.
I mean, I'm not making that promise, but...
They're not crazy accountants. I said we're not using crazy accountants. Our accountants are smart.
They're borderline shady, but legal.
Yeah, just like old boy from Breaking Bad. What was his name?
The accountant? Or Saul Goodman?
Saul Goodman.
Oh, he was straight up illegal.
I love him, though.
I love Saul Goodman.
It's great. Have you watched...
Saul Good, man.
You watched Let's Call Saul or Better Call Saul?
I've seen some of it. I haven't finished it.
Fantastic. I mean...
I know. I liked it.
All right. Not to get off on any tangents.
Yeah.
All right, people. Goodbye.